Hey everyone, welcome back, ready to go deep on something interesting. Today we're not just watching YouTube, we're talking about what it takes to actually start a channel in, well, 2025. Still worth it. Let's find out.
You know what's great? The source we've got, they're not peddling some get famous quick scheme. It's more about, I guess you could say, building something with real staying power, useful stuff, you know?
Exactly. We've got this one expert, super passionate about YouTube, but not for the, flash in the pan viral fame. It's all about the long game. So this deep dive, it's not about becoming some teen influencer. It's for you, wherever you're at.
Totally. And the first myth they bust, that whole YouTube equals easy money thing, they're straight up. It's not some magic cash machine. But here's what's cool. They've actually run a bunch of online businesses. Some. Total flops, crashed and burned. But guess what stuck with them through it all?
Okay, now I'm curious. That's like the opposite of what you usually hear.
Their YouTube channel, it was the one constant.
So if it's not about fast cash, what's the point? What are we really digging into here?
It's about building something that lasts, piece by piece. They use this term, the attention economy, which sounds kind of out there. But think about it, your attention, it's valuable. Companies are always fighting for it. So as you build an audience, even if it's small, you're building like a real asset.
An asset. Interesting. An asset that can, pay off in ways you wouldn't expect, beyond just ad revenue on YouTube itself.
Yeah, exactly. More people you genuinely connect with, more doors open. But I'm sure you're thinking, hold on, doesn't that mean fancy cameras, editing skills, all that?
Totally. Makes me feel behind already.
Our expert says, nope, you don't need a studio, a whole film crew, honestly, your phone. More than enough to get started. That's part of what makes YouTube so cool.
Okay, phew. It's a relief. But there's got to be a catch. No such thing as a free lunch, right?
Well, yeah, you put in the work, you get the rewards. There's a learning curve, no doubt. You'll be figuring out filming, editing, even how to market your videos. But here's where it gets good. Those are valuable skills, even if you never go viral. That's stuff businesses are looking for right now.
You're saying it's like accidental career training while making cool videos.
Exactly. What skills have you been wanting to level up? Maybe YouTube is the perfect low-pressure way to give it a shot.
That's a really cool way to think about it. Okay, but let's be real. People picture YouTubers alone in their rooms. Is that all it is?
Nah, not at all. This expert actually brings up the connections and opportunities that can come from putting yourself out there. You know, meeting people, collaborations, even sponsorships.
Wait, sponsorships? Like companies paying you?
Yep. Now, they do say early on, a lot of the offers kind of junk, like free energy drinks for a shout out. But the bigger you grow, the better those offers get.
So it's about playing the long game, not jumping at the first shiny thing. Knowing that as you build your channel, things change.
Exactly. And here's what's interesting. It's a different kind of marketing. You're not chasing down leads. People are finding you based on what you're already making.
That changes things. Instead of awkward networking events, your work speaks for itself. You attract the right people.
Right. Imagine how that changes how you build your career, your business. Powerful stuff, right?
Absolutely. But let's be honest. Putting yourself on camera, terrifying for a lot of people.
Oh, totally. Our expert admits they used to hate their own voice. And on camera, super awkward at first.
So even the pros feel that way.
Yeah.
But they obviously got over it.
They changed how they thought about it. The goal wasn't to be some perfect performer. It was about getting OUT of that comfort zone. And get this, the confidence you build from that, it carries over into every part of your life.
Like the more you face that fear, the less it controls you.
Yeah.
You can use that confidence anywhere.
Precisely. What are your confidence hurdles, the things you'd love to overcome? Maybe YouTube is like a secret weapon for personal growth, not just video making.
I love that. Okay, we've got the skills, the connections, even conquering fear. But tell me, there's a fun side to all this.
Oh yeah, definitely. Remember that digital nomad dream. Work from anywhere, be your own boss, set your own hours.
Okay, yeah, tell me more about that.
YouTube's not a guaranteed ticket to that life, but it can give you a taste of that freedom. You're building something you own in, not working for someone else.
So less about being a YouTuber specifically.
Yeah.
More about having a space where you're in control, sharing what you love, and maybe even building a business out of it.
You got it. What does freedom mean to you? More time with family, traveling the world. Think about how having a YouTube channel could fit into that.
That's a great question.
And something else they brought up, which I think is really relevant now, is authenticity. It feels like online, everything's so polished, so fake.
Oh, for sure. Everyone trying to be perfect, it's exhausting.
Right. And they point out people are craving something different. They want realness, connection, content that feels genuine.
So instead of trying to be perfect, it's more about being, well, you.
Exactly. They actually say that super polished scripted stuff is losing its appeal. What's working now is more vlog style, what they call edutainment. Raw, relatable.
Interesting. So it's less about being a slick salesperson
Yeah.
and more about being a real person, sharing their knowledge, their experiences in a way that feels authentic.
Exactly. So what unique experiences, what knowledge do you have that you could share authentically? What's your story?
Ooh, that's a good one. It makes you think.
It does. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter how niche your interests are. In fact, the more specific, the better.
Wait, really?
Yeah. That's the beauty of YouTube. It lets you connect with people who are into the same things, even if those interests are super specific.
It's like finding your tribe, right? The people who just get it.
Exactly. It's about sharing your passion, finding the people who understand, and escaping that feeling of being alone online, building a community.
And think about it. What passions are you maybe holding back on? The things that are too weird or too specific? YouTube could be the place where you can just be yourself, no judgment.
Yeah, that's a powerful thought, isn't it?
It is. It makes me realize YouTube is less about the videos and more about what they can create. You put yourself out there, connect with your tribe. Who knows what amazing things could happen?
Precisely. It's a journey of self-discovery, connection, and who knows, maybe even building a successful business or career along the way.
Okay, so we've talked about the why, the unexpected benefits, the skills you can gain, the chance to connect. But how do you actually do it? Where do you even begin?
Well, our expert is big on consistency, and they have a great analogy for this.
Ooh, I love a good analogy. Let's hear it.
Throw a lot of spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
Okay, wow. I was not expecting that, but I kind of love it.
Right. It takes the pressure off, right? You
Yeah.
don't have to make a masterpiece every time. Just get out there, create, and learn.
So it's more about quantity over perfection, especially when you're just getting started.
Exactly. Experiment. See what resonates with your audience and find your voice as you go.
Makes sense. But how do you even know what your audience wants? How do you find those people who are actually interested in what you have to say?
That's where understanding your target audience comes in. Who are you making these videos for? What are their interests, their goals? What are they struggling with? The more you can tailor your content to a specific audience, the more likely you are to find your tribe, build a loyal following.
So it's not just about creating whatever pops into your head. You have to be strategic and think about who you're trying to reach and what they actually want to see.
Exactly. It's like having a good conversation. You need to listen to the other person and respond in a way that's relevant and engaging.
That makes total sense. But how do you actually find those people? Make sure your videos are getting seen by the right audience.
Well, that's where the infamous YouTube algorithm comes into play.
Oh yeah, the algorithm.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about it, but it can feel like this big mysterious thing controlling your fate.
It can be pretty overwhelming. But our expert doesn't want creators to get bogged down in the technical stuff. They suggest learning the basics of SEO, keyword research, but not getting obsessed.
So it's finding that balance between understanding the algorithm and not letting it rule your life, right?
Exactly. Remember, authenticity is key. Don't try to game the system or chase trends. Focus on creating valuable content that genuinely connects with your audience.
That's a great point. It's easy to get so caught up in trying to hack the algorithm that you lose sight of what really matters.
Totally. And this actually brings us back to something we touched on earlier, that idea of documenting your journey. Remember, our expert talked about that.
Yes. It wasn't just about travel vlogs or daily routines, was it?
Nope. It's about something much deeper. Sharing the process of learning, growing, and overcoming challenges, whatever those might be for you.
So less about showing the perfect final product and more about the behind the scenes, the ups and downs, the real stuff.
Exactly. Think about it. You have unique experiences and insights that other people could benefit from. And when you document your journey, you're not only helping others, you're also creating this record of your own growth.
Like a public journal, but with the potential to inspire people all over the world.
Right. And they even mention the specific content formula that's performing really well on YouTube right now. IRL plus POV plus edu.
Okay, color me intrigued, but a little confused. Break that down for me.
Sure. IRL stands for in real life, so content that feels authentic and relatable. POV is point of view, meaning you're sharing your own unique perspective and opinions. And then there's edu, which stands for education. You're actually providing valuable information or insights.
So like a vlog, but with more substance. Educational value.
You got it. They say this type of content is working well because it blends entertainment and information in a way that feels genuine and engaging.
I can definitely see that. It's like getting a glimpse into someone's life, learning from their experiences, and maybe even having a few laughs along the way.
Exactly. Instead of just showing your daily routine, you could be sharing tips on productivity or time management. Or instead of just reviewing a product, you might teach people how to use it in a creative way.
Okay, starting to get the picture now, but honestly, putting yourself out there like that requires a lot of confidence. What about those doubts and fears that hold us back?
You're absolutely right. Putting yourself out there, sharing your opinions, and basically teaching others requires a certain level of self-assurance. But remember what we discussed earlier, that confidence can actually come from the process itself.
So the more you create and share, the more confident you become.
Exactly. It's a positive feedback loop. The more you create, the more you realize that you actually have something valuable to offer. And that realization, in turn, empowers you to create even more.
It's like building a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But what about when those moments of self-doubt creep in? What if you make a mistake or someone leaves a negative comment?
Well, our expert has a pretty blunt message for those dealing with self-doubt. They say, and I quote, "Nobody gives a crap."
Whoa. Okay, that's a little harsh, isn't it?
I know it sounds that way at first, but they're not trying to be mean. They're just pointing out that we tend to overestimate how much other people care about our perceived flaws or mistakes. Most people are too wrapped up in their own lives to spend time scrutinizing our every move.
It's like that saying, you wouldn't worry so much about what people think of you if you realize how seldom they do.
Precisely. And here's the even wilder part. They actually reframe negative comments as a positive sign.
Hold on. Negative comments as a positive thing. How's that possible?
They argue that haters can actually be a sign that your content is reaching a wider audience and sparking conversation. If everyone agrees with you all the time, you're probably not pushing any boundaries or challenging the status quo.
So it's a reminder that not everyone's going to love your message, and that's okay. In fact, it might even mean you're doing something right.
Exactly. Your tribe is out there, and they're waiting to connect with you. And remember, building a YouTube channel isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about finding your people, connecting with like-minded individuals, and building a community around shared passions.
And that brings us back to the core of this whole conversation, doesn't it? Starting a YouTube channel in 2025 isn't about chasing fame or fortune. It's about finding your voice, sharing your story, and making a difference, however big or small.
And they really emphasize even if your channel never becomes this huge viral sensation, the skills you gain, the confidence you build, the connections you make will be valuable no matter what.
It really is an investment in yourself, your personal growth, and your future, no matter what the outcome might be.
And here's the beautiful thing. You don't need to have all the answers before you start.
You're right. Just take that first step, create the first video, and see where the journey leads.
And if you're feeling a bit lost, unsure where to begin, our expert actually offers a free 30-day YouTube growth challenge to get you going. We'll be sure to put a link to that in the show notes.
Perfect. So what story are you waiting to tell? The world needs to hear it.
And as you embark on this journey, here's a final thought to consider. Imagine the impact you could have by sharing your knowledge and experience with the world.
It's not about self-promotion or chasing fame. It's about making a genuine connection, contributing something positive to the online space.
And remember, even if you only reach a few people, you never know how your content might impact their lives. It could be the inspiration they needed, the encouragement to pursue a dream, or simply the reminder that they're not alone.
Like that ripple effect, right? You throw a pebble into a pond and the ripples spread further than you can see.
Exactly. And who knows? You might surprise yourself along the way, discover hidden talents, make unexpected connections, even create opportunities you never thought possible. That's the beauty of this journey. It's full of possibilities.
So our big takeaway from this deep dive. Starting a YouTube channel in 2025, it's more than just a trend. It's a chance to build something meaningful, connect with others, invest in your own growth. It's about stepping outside that comfort zone, embracing your authenticity, sharing your unique voice with the world.
And who knows, you might just discover that the journey itself is even more rewarding than the destination. So what story are you waiting to tell? We can't wait to see what you create.
All right, so we've covered the why of starting a YouTube channel in 2025, all those unexpected benefits, the skills you pick up, the potential for real connection. But let's get practical here. How do you actually make the content?
Well, consistency is huge E, according to our expert. It's not about like pumping out viral hits every week. It's more about showing up regularly, giving your audience something to look forward to.
Doesn't that create a ton of pressure, though? Like every video has to be perfect?
That's where this expert's advice is really helpful. They actually say to focus on quantity over perfection, especially when you're first starting out.
Wait, seriously? So it's better to have a bunch of like decent videos than to stress over making a few perfect ones.
Exactly. They use this analogy. It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. The more you create, the more you learn what works for your audience.
Okay, I'm kind of seeing the logic there, getting out of your own head and just creating. But how do you even know what kind of spaghetti to throw? Where do you get ideas for all this content?
That's where knowing your audience really comes in. Who are you making these videos for? What are they into? What are their goals? What problems are they trying to solve? The more you can target your content, the more likely you are to find your people and build a loyal following.
So it's not just about making whatever random stuff comes to mind. You need to be strategic, think about who you're trying to reach and what they want.
Precisely. Think of it like a good conversation. You have to listen to the other person and respond in a way that's relevant, that keeps them engaged.
Makes sense. But how do you actually find those people? How do you get your videos seen by the right audience?
Well, that's where we run into the infamous YouTube algorithm.
Oh yeah, the algorithm. Everyone talks about it, but it feels like this big, mysterious force controlling everything.
It can definitely feel overwhelming. Our expert, though, they don't want creators to get bogged down in the technical stuff. They say, learn the basics of SEO, keyword research, but don't obsess over it.
So it's finding that middle ground, right? Understanding the algorithm without letting it, like, run your life.
Exactly. Remember, authenticity is key. You don't want to game the system or just chase trends. Focus on making content that's valuable and connects with your people.
Good reminder. It's easy to get caught up in those hacks and lose sight of what matters.
Absolutely. And this brings us back to something we talked about before, the idea of documenting your journey. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Our expert wasn't just talking about, like, travel vlogs or daily routines, right?
Nope, they were talking about something way deeper.
It's about sharing the process of learning, growing, overcoming challenges, whatever those are for you. So less about the perfect final product, more about the behind the scenes, the ups and downs, the real raw stuff.
Precisely. Think about it. You've got experiences, you've learned things that other people could benefit from. By documenting your journey, you're not just helping others, you're creating a record of your own growth, like a public journal that can connect with people all over the world.
Now, that's powerful. It's not just making videos, it's sharing your story and maybe even helping others as you go.
Right. And they even call out a specific type of content that's doing really well right now. They call it IRL plus POV plus edu.
Okay, gotta admit, I'm curious but a little lost. What does that even mean?
So IRL is in real life, meaning the content feels genuine, relatable. Then there's POV, which is point of view, all about sharing your unique take on things, your opinions. And finally, there's edu for education, meaning you're adding some real value, sharing information or insights.
So it's like a vlog, but with a lot more substance, some educational value thrown in.
Exactly. They say this kind of content is clicking with people because it blends entertainment and information, and it does it in a way that feels authentic and engaging.
I can see that. It's like you're getting a peek into someone's real life, you're learning from them, and maybe even having some fun along the way.
Exactly. So, instead of just showing your daily routine, you could also share tips on, say, productivity or time management, or instead of just doing a product review, you could teach people how to use that product in a really creative way.
Okay, starting to get a much clearer picture. But let's be real, putting yourself out there like that takes confidence. What about those doubts and fears that we all have?
You're absolutely right. Sharing your opinions, essentially teaching other people, it does require a certain level of self-assurance. But remember, we talked about this earlier, that confidence can actually grow out of the process itself.
You mean the more you create and share, the more confident you become?
Exactly. It's this positive feedback loop. The more you create, the more you realize, hey, I actually have something to offer here. And that realization then gives you the confidence to create even more.
Like a muscle you're building, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. But what about those times when the self-doubt creeps in? Like what if you make a mistake or someone leaves a nasty comment?
Well, our expert has a surprisingly blunt message for those dealing with self-doubt. Ready for it? They say, nobody gives a crap.
Whoa, okay, that's kind of harsh, don't you think?
I know it sounds that way, but they're not trying to be insensitive, really. They're just saying we tend to blow things out of proportion. We think people are judging us way more than they actually are. Most people are too busy with their own lives to worry about our every little flaw.
It's like you wouldn't worry so much about what others think of you if you knew how little they actually do.
Exactly. And here's what's even wilder. They actually see negative comments as a good thing.
Wait, hold up. Negative comments as a positive. How is that possible?
They argue that haters, well, they can actually be a sign that your content is reaching more people, it's starting conversations. If everyone's always agreeing with you, you're probably not pushing any boundaries.
So it's a reminder that not everyone has to love your message, and that's okay. It could even mean you're on the right track.
Exactly. Your people are out there, and they're waiting to connect. Building a YouTube channel isn't about making everyone happy. It's about finding your tribe, your people, those who get it.
This brings us back to the heart of it all, doesn't it? Starting a YouTube channel in 2025, it's not about chasing fame or fortune. It's about finding your voice, sharing your story, and making a difference in any way you can.
And even if your channel never blows up and goes viral, they really stress the skills, the confidence, the connections, all of that is valuable.
It's truly an investment in yourself no matter what.
And here's the beautiful thing. You don't need to have it all figured out to get started.
It's about taking that first step, making that first video, and seeing where it goes.
Exactly. And if you're feeling lost, our expert has a free 30-day YouTube growth challenge. We'll link it in the show notes.
Perfect. So what story are you ready to tell? The world is waiting to hear it.
Here's a thought to leave you with. Imagine the impact you could have by sharing what you know, what you've experienced. It's powerful stuff.
And it's not about bragging or getting famous. It's about connecting with people and putting something good out into the world.
Even if you only reach a few people, you never know how your content might impact them. Maybe it's the push they needed to try something new, the encouragement to chase a dream, or just knowing they're not alone.
Like that ripple effect, right? You throw a stone in a pond, and those ripples go further than you can imagine.
And who knows? You might surprise yourself on this journey. Discover talents you didn't know you had, make incredible connections, maybe even create opportunities you never dreamed of. That's the exciting part. It's full of potential.
So the big takeaway from this deep dive: starting a YouTube channel in 2025, it's more than just a trend. It's about building something with meaning, connecting with people, and investing in your own growth. Stepping outside your comfort zone, being yourself, sharing your voice.
And you might just find the journey itself is even more rewarding than the destination. So, what story are you ready to tell? We can't wait to see what you create.
You know, one thing that's really sticking with me after all this is how starting a YouTube channel, it's not just about making videos, is it?
No, not really.
It's more about what those videos represent. Taking that leap, putting yourself out there and sharing what you're passionate about. It's about connecting, growing, and hey, maybe even building something that could change your life.
Totally. And what's interesting, our expert doesn't frame it like some big business thing, you know?
Right.
It's more down to earth than that. They talk about YouTube as this tool, you know, for personal development, for pushing yourself, learning skills that can help you anywhere, not just online.
I love that.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off. It's not about becoming like a YouTube millionaire overnight.
Right.
It's about the journey, figuring things out, making those connections along the way. That's something we can all relate to.
Exactly. And, you know, thinking back to that whole attention economy thing, it's almost like YouTube flips the script, doesn't it?
In what way?
Well, instead of just sitting there watching videos, you're out there creating them. You're building your own little space online, and you're attracting people who actually care about what you've got to say.
So it's about taking control, becoming a creator instead of just a consumer.
Exactly. And that change in mindset, it can be really powerful. You realize, hey, I've got something to share. My voice matters.
And our expert really stresses that it doesn't matter if your interests are like super specific.
Right.
There's an audience out there for everything.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. You can be yourself, all your quirks and all, and find your people, those who just get you.
Exactly. Think about the ripple effect of that, you know? You put yourself out there, share what you love, and you just never know who's watching, who might get inspired, who might need to hear what you've got to say.
Like that quote, be the person you needed when you were younger. Your videos could be that for someone else.
That's a good one. And here's something else I found really interesting. Our expert talks about using YouTube to document your journey, create a record of how you're growing and changing. It's like a public journal. but it can connect with people all over the world.
Yeah, and it's not just about the big successes and the perfect moments, right?
Yeah.
It's about the behind-the-scenes stuff, the struggles, the failures, what you learn from it all. Being real, relatable, which is so refreshing online these days.
It is. Remember that formula we talked about, IRL plus POV plus eDo?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's all about mixing those real-life experiences with your own unique perspective and actually teaching people something useful, making content that's entertaining and educational, engaging, and authentic.
And the best part, it works for any topic. Baking, travel, career advice, anything you're passionate about.
Exactly. And even if you never get millions of subscribers, the skills you build, the confidence, the people you meet, that's all valuable no matter what.
It's like an investment in yourself, no matter the outcome.
Totally. So to bring it all back, why should you start a YouTube channel in 2025?
Well, I think after this deep dive, the answer is pretty clear. It's not about the fame or the money. It's about being yourself, sharing what lights you up, connecting with others, and maybe even making a positive impact on the world, even if it's just one person at a time.
Well said. It's about the journey, the growth, the connections, and knowing that your voice matters.
So if you've been thinking about starting a channel, don't overthink it. Don't let fear hold you back. Just start creating and see what happens.
And don't forget, our experts got that free 30-day YouTube growth challenge to help you get going. Check the show notes for the link.
What story are you ready to tell? What impact are you ready to make? We can't wait to see what you create. And that wraps up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.